Hello, Philip. Please give an introduction about yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm 22 years old. I've been in the real world for about 6 months now. Through the copywriting and freelancing campus, I've made in the realm of 15 to 17K, and yeah,
Hmm.
so, and
Okay.
I mostly do white paper copywriting as well.
What is white paper copywriting?
Yeah, so white paper copywriting, basically, it's like a research paper, but it's like a marketing research paper. Um, so what I do is I scour the internet for reputable sources, similar blogs, type of thing, and I compile it all into about a 2 to 3 page research paper, and I, dumb down the language a little bit so anyone can read it, and it allows people who read it to know that the company that's publishing it, that they're an expert in this field or topic, and it just gives credibility to the company really. So it allows me to use a lot of like critical thinking skills, which I like. Um, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of like social media work because I don't really like tweeting. I've been trying to fix that, but uh, white papers is allows you to like be like a little bit of a scientist or like a researcher because sometimes you get like topics like um, cell culture biology or even really random stuff like trucking,
Mhm.
uh, and make a paper on that.
Interesting. So that sounds like something you're intrigued by. So, what is your background before you joined the real world?
Yeah, so it actually it fits right into why I chose to do white papers. So before I joined the real world, I was a student. I was actually a doctoral student. I was working on my PhD. Um, I studied history. I went to a really big fancy university. I'm not going to say the name of it. I will say that it's infamous for being woke university and talk about free speech all the time. I'm pretty sure some people might know which one I'm talking about, but I'll leave that to them to figure it out.
Mhm.
But I really loved like exploring topics and learning stuff on my own. But I never really knew how to monetize it, right?
Mhm.
So I always just sort of stuck within the system of okay, go to school, do a PhD, maybe try to become a researcher, professor, and while it is self-satisfying at times, it's very much you don't get to say what you want to say all the time, even if it is true. You kind of have to say what they want you to say. And also, I was working, sometimes 60, 80-hour weeks, making barely minimum wage. And the people who were publishing my work, they were taking in all the money, so it was just a complete waste of time.
Mm. Damn. Okay, interesting. What, considering the field you're in, what brought you to the real world?
Yeah, so I had first heard about the real world like when Andrew was like first blowing up, right? Back then it was called Hustlers University, right? Um, and like everything I heard about they were like, it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme. I think even on Andrew's Wikipedia page, like it lists Hustlers University or like the real world as a pyramid scheme. So everyone was like, it's a scam, it's a scam. Um, but I had been following Andrew like when he started blowing up, and I really liked his message, like, and it really resonated with me, and it was helping me in a lot of different aspects of my life. So I, because of what Andrew was saying, I started picking up like freelancing. I started working on the side because I figured if I'm gonna do all this work, might as well, try to get some of that money back into my pocket. So I started freelance writing, and I made a little bit of money, but I realized I have no clue what I'm doing, right? And I was making a lot of mistakes. And so I figured, well, if it is a pyramid scheme, if it is a scam, I can afford to lose $50. So I joined, and lo and behold, it was not a pyramid scheme or a scam. It's very legit.
Okay. Okay, let's go a bit more into that then. In terms of the resources that you found in the copywriting and freelancing campuses, how different were they compared to if you're just learning it online?
But the thing is about learning online. it's a very good skill to have, but it has its limits. So most of the time, if you like go on YouTube or Google or that sort of thing, you'll find very cookie cutter resources that appeals to the widest possible audience. And also, many of these programs, they're not modular, they're not dynamic. So if something changes with real life circumstances, with algorithms, with what is useful, what is not useful, these resources don't change. They're very static. But the real world, the professors are in there every day. There's an AMA every day. There's a power call every day, new lessons all the time. So it's very dynamic. So you're always learning new skills, relevant skills. Plus, you have the community there who are always helping each other. The professors are always helping you. The captains are always helping you. So it's a much more dynamic environment. It's very much focused on giving you skills that are useful and helping you turn those skills into something that's marketable, into making money, into applying those skills, right? Whereas these online resources, they just throw a bunch of information at you and they're like, okay, go have fun.
Okay. So what was your journey there like, going through the resources, learning new skills? And after that, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you were implementing those lessons?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with writing, I related to going to the gym where you make very small progress every single day. And when you start going to the gym, right, you take a look at yourself in the mirror every day and you're like, I don't look any different, right? When in reality, obviously you look different, but you see yourself every day, so you don't think you look any different. The same thing with writing. You see your writing every day, and I was really good at writing and compare my writing to it. My writing still looks like crap. But if you practice every day, you go through the resources every day, better. You won't notice that you're getting better, but you're definitely going to get better. So it's very much getting over that hump of taking criticism, applying any feedback that you get. You're going to make a lot of mistakes at first, especially with something like copywriting, because the writing you learn your whole life is not copywriting, right? So it's completely new. So you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but you just have to accept that you're going to make those mistakes. And once you accept that you're going to make a lot of mistakes and that it's going to be very slow progress, then it becomes a lot easier and you start making a lot more progress and you get over that mental hurdle.
Okay, got it. Now, what was the process like for landing your first client for writing white papers?
Mm-hmm. So I had a really big portfolio of research work. So I was able to turn that into something that I could use into marketing myself as someone who could write white papers. So I do a lot of my freelance work on a platform called Upwork. I know a lot of people on the freelancing course right now are probably pulling their hair out because they all hate Upwork because Upwork charges a 10% fee for all their work, but they protect your contract, so it's pretty nice. But basically, I applied. I think I applied to about 30 different contracts before I landed my first client, and it was a client for like $200. So that was my first client. It was a $200 client. So I think that was like the only $200 I made that month. But we all got to start somewhere. But once I landed that, and I was able to show, okay, not only do I have research skills, not only do I have writing skills, but I have these skills that I can turn into marketable skills as well. I have this, proof that I can do it. And, after that, the ball just kept rolling and rolling. And since it was summer, I had a lot of free time. And then I ended up landing a really big ticket client. That client was for about $5,000 after that. And at that point, I just started doing this full time. And, ever since, it's been great.
So 2 questions there. How did you land that $5,000 client?
Mm-hmm. So I actually landed that through a reference from my previous client. So I completed this project for another client. They were really happy with my work, and they said, "Hey, I know someone. They might be interested in what you do. Let me connect you." I said, okay, I didn't think much of it at the time. And it ended up being for this company that they do impact measuring. So it's like measuring uh, a company's impact on like the environment and economics and all that. And they wanted 20 white papers. So it was a really big project. Uh, and yeah, so that was ended up being my first like big client,
Hmm.
which just it was very lucky. I acknowledge that, but I'm proud of myself to like I was able to get through that project, and client was very hard work as well, and it's since landed me multiple other big clients as
Yeah.
well.
Awesome. And second question was, you said you started doing this full time. Does that mean dropping out of university?
I have dropped out of university. Yes. Uh,
Hmm.
I actually now I get to live out my dreams. So it was always my dream to travel the world and be a digital nomad, I guess they call them. So I'm actually in Berlin right now. I'm from California. Uh, so I
Hmm.
just arrived in Berlin. After the October, I'm going to Barcelona, and after Barcelona, I'm gonna go to Egypt for a little bit. I'm Egyptian. Go to Egypt for a little bit, and then figure out where I'm gonna go from there. So it's awesome. I get to work from my computer, work anywhere in the world, make a bunch of money, see the world. It's great.
Perfect. Love to hear that. Okay, so yeah, traveling around. What's that like? How's the experience so far of the traveling?
It is really surreal because I always used to dream of this, and but now I get to do it, and it's so weird because I always like text my friends, right? And they're always like, "Oh, I gotta go to school, I gotta go to work." I have one friend, they just started a new job, 9 to 5 job, and I always just text them, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm in Berlin. I might take the train to Prague, just feel like it, you know, just sort
Hmm.
of do whatever." Yeah, so it's just so weird because if I decide, hey, I want to go somewhere and go do something, I can just do it. It's great. So, of course, it does take a lot of discipline because I got to put my work first. But having that freedom, having that ability to, you know, control my life and control where I am in the world is just is so weird that because it's so liberating because I'm not used to it because I've lived 22 years of my life was just live in this one area, go to this one place 5 times a week, and that's it. Maybe on the weekend go somewhere else. But yeah,
Hmm. Right.
it's great.
So, how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the real world?
Yeah, so I try to keep some semblance of structure. So before I joined the real world, it was always, wake up at 6 a.m., go to campus, work until like 10 p.m., uh, and then come home. Since joining, so I still wake up around like 6 to 7 a.m., uh, go to the local gym, go there for about an hour, come back, uh, work for about 10, 12 hours. I always try to set goals for myself every single day. It's pretty easy with copywriting because you usually have a lot of small projects that you're working on as part of a bigger project. So I always set myself a goal, try to get about 12 hours of work done, and then I usually take about 1 to 2 hours to go see the city I'm in, whatever city I'm in at the time. Uh, just walk around, go to a cafe, um, take a mental break as well. But yeah, but having that structure is super important for me. Um, I have to be honest with myself. When I first started being a little bit of a digital nomad, I was all over the place. Really terrible sleep schedule, really bad work schedule. But after that first like euphoria period, I've gone back
Hmm.
to being disciplined, making sure I do what I need to do every single day.
Right. Okay. And then before joining the real world, what did your day look like?
Yeah, so I was basically just wake up, go to campus, come home. That was it. I worked on my university's campus for 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Go to class, go to meetings, speak with the professor, speak with other students. It it was basic. I was doing a lot of work, but it was a lot of work that was pointless, and it was so infuriating because there were times where I was like, I love what I do, I, but for other times where I was like, I am doing so much work and I'm getting absolutely nothing out of it, right? And it was just so it was very mentally taxing. I think is the best way to put it. You get
Yeah.
exhausted by the end of it in a different way because you wake up and you're like, I have to do this again. It's not I don't I get to do this again because I wake up every day now and I'm like, I get to work, I get to do this, I get to go travel, I get to do that. With what I did before, it was always I have to do this, I have to go speak with this person, I have to go do
Mhm.
this. It was it was just terrible.
All right. Yeah, and just going back to what you said about your current day, that's the thing about this kind of life. Yes, it gives you more freedom, but you also need to be more disciplined about it because you technically need more of a routine in your day to day in order to have the luxury of that freedom. So it's an interesting kind of
Hmm.
paradox in a way, I guess. But yes, overall, you
Yeah.
definitely do have more freedom to do what you want and structure your day how you want, as long as you're still fitting the work into it. So fair enough. And since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading then in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Yeah. So short term, I'm aiming to have more financial stability right now. So right now, I'm not consistently landing as many big ticket clients as I'd like. So my goal right now is to try to at least get to 10K a month on average regularly, ideally 20. That's in, in the real world. I try to keep myself consistent and updating my progress on that. But aiming for 10K to 20K a month. After that, I'd like to expand. I definitely want to start building a bit of a brand from the work I've done. Upwork, build my own website, portfolio that for people to see, more client outreach. And then in the long term, I actually want to move into digital marketing, hopefully connect, maybe even switch over to the war room, connect with some people there. Um, and try to build a much more comprehensive uh, brand, maybe a full company even. And also, I've been trying to get into investing as well. That's a bit of also the short, medium, and long term. Investing never goes away. Right now, I'm doing stocks and crypto, thanks to the campuses in the real world. Um, Hopefully, one day also move into real estate. That's a much bigger, prospect as well. But that's
Mhm.
probably more on the long term side.
Yeah. We can briefly cover then. What are you learning from the stocks and crypto campuses? How have they been beneficial so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the, there's a lot of information out there on stocks and crypto on YouTube, but 99% of it is bullshit. Excuse my language, I'm sorry, but
Mhm.
it's BS, right?
Mhm.
And there's so many scams and get rich quick schemes. The real world cuts all of that out. It tells you what you need to do, how to be safe with your money, what to avoid, and it's completely honest. Stocks in crypto, there's no get rich quick. It will help you expand your wealth because that's what it's about. Helps you maybe even secure your wealth, protect your wealth, but there's no get rich quick, and that's what they teach you in those campuses is those steps to protect and expand your wealth, right? So they cut out all the BS, they cut out all the scams and all of that. They give it to you cut and dry what you need to do, how to be safe, and everything like that. And they also provide daily analysis. Obviously, there's the community you can talk with. You can discuss ideas about what's going on in the stock markets, what are good investments, what are bad investments, short term, long term, that sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably the most beneficial thing about using those resources in the real world, in my opinion.
All right. And yeah, you say in your opinion, but that does sound very accurate. And I'm just wondering, what's your process for improving in copywriting? What are you still maybe doing day to day, or what kind of things are you doing? Maybe learning advanced material or something else. Yeah, what's your process for improving? Is the overarching question.
Yeah, so with that, it kind of changes a little bit based on where you are with copywriting. So when I first started, obviously I went through the campus material. A really good resource is that they have a review section in the campus. You can submit any copywriting you do, and the captains or the professor will look over it and give you feedback. And they always give great feedback. So that's a great resource to use, whether you're a beginner or advanced. But a good exercise I found was go to a random website, like literally the most random website you can think of, and write copy for it, just on the side, like for yourself. So it could be like a website that sells energy drinks or Pokemon cards or pizza or whatever, and just write copy for them. And that's because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to meet random clients and you're going to have to write copy for them. So that's a great exercise when you're first getting started to think about, okay, if I was this brand, what would I want to say? And it gets you thinking in that mindset because it's not so much about the information, it's more about the process of you getting there. So I found that really useful. Nowadays, to improve, I usually give my clients a little survey for any feedback they want to give me. And they always usually say, "Oh yeah, it was great. I would never, yeah, I would perfect. Don't change anything." But there's still occasionally the honest clients, which is nice, and that's a good way to get feedback. But also, yeah, always using the peer review in the real world. That's probably the best resource, especially when you get more and more advanced. Um, because there's always people who are better writers than you. Same thing. Like I said with the gym, there's always someone who's stronger than you, right? Someone who's more advanced than you. So using that community, in your favor is probably the best way for someone who's thinking about wanting to take that next step in copywriting.
Awesome. Okay. Love that answer. And now to wrap everything up, for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because what if they think it could be a scam for the $50? What advice would you have to them?
Well, to be blunt, it is not a scam. There are a lot of people out there who will tell you a million ways to get rich quick. That is not what the real world is selling. The real world is selling you information that is applicable along with a community that wants to help you in giving you skills to make money. We will help you make money, right? The community will help you make money, the professors will help you make money, the captains will help you make money. It is not a get rich quick scheme. You need to do the work, right? If you are not someone who wants to do work, the real world is not for you, right? The real world is about doing work and making money. That is as simple as it. So if you are someone and you know that you are a hard worker, right? Maybe you're a hard worker at your current job. Maybe you're a student, you do those 60 to 80 hours a week, and it's some BS. You could be making a lot of money with the amount of work that you do. The real world is perfect for you, right? If you know you can do work. If you can't do work, the real world is not for you. Plain and simple.
Okay. And again, very true, very well put. So, for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Reach out to me is through my email. It's phil.iweda@gmail.com.
Mhm.
That's usually how I reach out to most of my clients. If you're a copywriter yourself and you want, some advice from me, I'm happy to talk. I could tell you about some more specific experiences I have and some of the technical details. If you're also looking to collaborate as well, I'd be happy to hear from people as well.
Awesome. Okay. So, we'll add that to the description of the video. And yeah, it was some very interesting insights. That was the first time I heard someone doing white paper copywriting. So, it was interesting to listen to. And I look forward to doing a follow up with you potentially in future, just to see where everything's going for you, where you traveled, how much you scaled everything. Then that would be good to get a progress report on. And until then, I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Great to meet you.